All this extreme festival action is proudly brought to you by InvestChem Chemical Logistics and Hankook Tires. Zwartkops, and back to the home of motorsport up here in the Gauteng region. Things going really well here, and a big crowd coming out on tricky, really cool conditions. Looking forward to seeing some action now from the single-seaters as we celebrate Women's Month, and all the ladies getting a rose from our Extreme Festival boys. Hankook Formula V's, as always, known as the four-wheeled superbikes. These guys put on a show of note. And as they line up on the grid, we're sitting with 15 South African championships on the grid. The first 5 cars making up the majority of those championships, and of course Anthony Taylor a bit further down the grid making up the rest. Gert van den Berg, Jaco Schricks, Alan Holm, Sim Krobler and Peter Hills, the men we're talking about. So look out for big action amongst those guys, and Lucian Ramchanda and Lionel Janssen jumping in amongst them. As we get down towards turn 1, it is a super start from Gert van den Berg. He leaves the rest of the field at bay right now as they head down towards turn 2 out of Compendium Insurance corner. And under braking, Jaco Schricks trying to close that gap down. It's Ramchanda going side by side with Alan Holm, who makes a welcome return to Formula V's after a long time out. But the Office Direct car already into the mix and into third place with Ramchanda all over the back of him. Nice start there as well, coming out of Rugheimer. He's got some pressure being applied there by Sim Krobler. And there you can see diving on the inside, Ramchanda out of shape. Oh, Ramchanda clipping Alan Holm, and he takes the nose cone off, but Ramchanda completely out of shape into turn 4, taking Alan Holm's nose off completely, and that's a big, big pity. Let's have a look at that one more time. You can see he just gets a little bit late on the brakes, gets it squirrely, takes the nose cone off. Fortunately, Alan Holm saw him coming, tried to avoid, just couldn't get that nose cone out the way. But the two of them getting back on track. Another car spinning out as well in the midst there. I'm not quite sure who that was, but definitely some issues. And unfortunately, a safety car had to be called for. So Pretoria Noord Toyota being brought out there with the 86. And now it's up to Gert van den Berg to dictate the pace down into turn 1 on the restart. The BP Nantes Motors man will just get the little drop over Jaco Schricks in the Beanchild coffee car, and he's sitting in second place. You can see already moving up there nicely. There's Sim Krobler. Alan Holm, even without the nose, not too worried about that because it doesn't really affect the ability of the car. Yes, there is a slight aerodynamic advantage to have that nose cone on, but with these cars, it's not a major one. Sim Krobler now starting to close in on the back end of Schricks. Further back, the Loop Fusion car. I think he might have just been involved in the frac car that happened behind. Peter Hill's not quite where he wants to be, and he needs to make some maneuvers to get up to the front end. Sitting down about 7th or 8th place at the moment, now heading up to the top of the hill again. They come through turn 4. Everything she's got, Hills has a look. Brandon Hill's in there as well. I don't know if Ramchanda's been able to get through the field as rapidly as what he'd like. There you can see him just in the background, making up some ground. Late braking coming out of Jaco Schricks as he dives on the inside and goes side by side with Gert van den Berg. They're still side by side. Oh, you don't want to rub wheels in these cars. It usually ends up with a big flick and you end up getting high-sided in a single-seater. But Schricks eventually making his way to the front end, diving through there on Van den Berg. Further back, Alan Holm has moved ahead of Sim Krobler, and there comes Hills. Behind him, Lionel Janssen. Janssen applying the pressure there in the Bull security car, looking for a way to maybe just squeeze up to the front end. He's top 2 getting away, though. The gap they've pulled over third place, and even though they're fighting so hard, it's not slowing them down, which is a good thing to see. Gert van den Berg looking to try and find a way past there on that Beanchild Coffee Merchants machine of Jaco Schricks, but these two ex-champions going at it now, side by side, and of course our current champion leads things out with the number 1 plate, looking for a double one here in this season as well. If he keeps it at the front end, that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Further back, there's a move. Oh, good dive on the inside from Lionel Janssen. Can he make it stick though? No, not close enough. It's very tight between those two cars, and unfortunately Janssen had to just come in line astern with Rugheimer closing in on him. How's this? A complete reverse of what we saw the previous lap. Gert van den Berg using that line, dives on the inside and gets through. Jaco Schricks with no answer, and this is coming to the checkered flag. Is this perfect timing from Van den Berg? It might be. He might have timed that to absolute perfection. He's going to go defensive down the hill. He looks in his rearview mirrors. He knows, oh, well, Schricks didn't quite have the go that I thought he might. But coming to the checkered flag now, Gert van den Berg going to take the first victory here in the Hankook Formula V's. He'll be happy about that one as he comes across the line. And that is it. First race in the bag. Van den Berg taking the victory ahead of Jaco Schricks. It's Alan Holm on his welcome return, getting onto the podium as well in third place, beating Sim Krobler and Peter Hills, with Rugheimer just behind, and then you had Lionel Janssen and Lucian Ramchanda back to 8th. Travis Rugheimer with one of the sexiest looking cars. Let's find out why his start wasn't so good.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a terrible start. Put it into first, and unfortunately it just jumped out of first. But thankfully there was actually a yellow flag for my sake because I managed to catch up to the pack.